So this video is about the management of Alzheimer's symptoms as well as cognitive decline and dementia in general. Whilst there's no medications that can really target what goes wrong in the brains of people that develop dementia, there is a very new exciting therapeutic possibility, which is that of MCT oil with great science behind it. I know you're probably going to be shocked because this is simply a food ingredient that you can find at the grocery store. You can buy it off of Amazon. And we have multiple studies, randomized controlled trial, which is one of the best evidence that we can have, where it improved both cognitive symptoms, quality of life, memory, and reduced the progression of the disease. But first of all, if you're new to this channel, my name is Martina. I am a nutritional therapist with a background in psychology. So I have a bachelor and a master in psychology. And I combined the two by providing nutrition and lifestyle recommendations specifically made for those that are struggling with any kind of mental health symptoms that ranges from anxiety to depression to things like cognitive decline. Maybe it isn't yourself, but it could be a loved one. So if you think that this video could be helpful to somebody, please send it to them. My main goal with this channel is to spread information to people that may not necessarily have the resources to be able to work with me one-on-one so that they can still benefit from these innovative therapies that they may not be told about. So we know that the brains of people with Alzheimer's cannot utilize energy properly. And we also know that something like MCT oil, which is transformed into the liver straight into energy that your brain can use, can bypass this issue. Moreover, we know that ketone bodies, which are produced from the MCT oil, can also reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, which we know are present and contribute to the pathology in Alzheimer's disease. The question is this something that you can simply try? MCT oil has been found incredibly safe. The only side effects that have been noted have been slight nausea when we reach a higher quantity because this is an oil. So the recommendation is generally to either add it to a meal and not have it on an empty stomach, because you can imagine that just drinking a bit of oil on its own could make you nauseous. But what is really cool is that one can get these clinical benefits that have been shown at a very cheap price. One can slowly increase the amount of MCT oil that they're trying to see how they do. We have multiple papers in which they've compared a group of people with Alzheimer's disease that was taking MCT oil to a group that wasn't. And they were able to see improvements within a matter of weeks. So what we've seen is improvements in quality of life, improvements in memory and recall. And this is extremely exciting. Whilst it isn't a cure-all, it isn't going to resolve all the symptoms. There is no cure for Alzheimer. We need to remember that Alzheimer and dementia are degenerative, meaning that they tend to get worse over time. So seeing an improvement in a condition that is supposed to get worse is extremely positive because it is something that we simply haven't had so far. Now, the question is, how do you apply this within your own life? You can use this for prevention for either you or your loved ones because it has been shown to help even with mild cases of cognitive decline and with preventing these symptoms, such as forgetfulness, feeling more tired, feeling like your brain is struggling, or it can be used as a therapeutic agent for those who have already developed a disorder. And how do you do so? So what is really cool is that the dosage that has been used in these papers is actually quite low. It is around 2 to 3 tablespoons of MCT oil. MCT oil is an extract from coconut oil, and this part that has been selected is the part of coconut oil that is more readily transformed into ketones by the body. These ketones can then simply reach the brain and help it function more smoothly when the brain is struggling for energy. You can add it to the regular breakfast that the person is having. You could add it to their coffee or tea. You could add it as a salad dressing, or there are even some powders that can be used. They're easier to mix in with things like soups or even to cook with. For cooking, it is important to remain at a very low temperature because we don't want the quality of the oil to be compromised. But you can cook, you can saute vegetables in it, for instance, with making sure that it doesn't get to a smoking point. What is really cool about MCT oil is that it doesn't have the strong taste of coconut that you would find in coconut oil because it is an extract. And so it is pretty neutral and can be added in foods without necessarily altering the taste, which is really helpful. For instance, if you are the caregiver, because it allows you to make changes to the meals that the person may not even necessarily realize. If you are dealing with a loved one that has very picky taste, this is something that you could introduce within their meals without them necessarily even noticing that anything has changed. Usually what is recommended is to start with half a teaspoon and then gradually increase until you get maybe some discomfort or nausea. This is what is called the tolerable upper limit. Once you've reached the amount that is seen in this study, such as around 2 to 3 tablespoons, then you will likely start to reap the benefits within a couple of weeks. If you are looking for more in-depth support with either your loved one or as prevention for yourself, I highly recommend that you actually get in touch because there is a lot more that can be done in terms of nutritional therapy. There is a lot of science that is pointing towards the use of a ketogenic diet in helping preventing and managing some of the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. MCT oil is actively working through ketones, so it only makes sense that also changing the baseline diet could also help the brain work better and the person achieve a better quality of life.